Hey everybody, did you know you can go to colinmullen.com in order to get art that you could use as like an apology, like, oops, sorry, I forgot to get you something for Christmas, but like, you deserve something nice because I appreciate you as a friend and or family member? colinmullen.com, because I don't think it's getting there by Christmas. Hey everybody, so, normally this is where I talk a little bit about the painting that I'm looking at or we're working on, and just to, get you inside my head so that we can consider like what I'm thinking about. But it's still one I'm working on, so I don't know how good it is or anything like that. I started one and then it didn't turn out very good, so I started another one. So hoping that this one, the second one, works out, but we'll see. We'll get both of the prints available, the prints that are not available currently on the website that I've done videos about, as soon as possible. It's just been kind of dark and cloudy out recently, and that's how I take my pictures. I bring them outside to take the picture. So prints are kind of on hold until then. You can still order them. They'll still show up. Just new prints, new work will not be up on the website for a bit. Anyway, let's talk about Burnout. Let's talk about this whole thing. So legal disclaimer, I'm not a psychologist. I have a degree in it, but I don't know you personally. I don't know the situation that you've got. I don't know what you're going through. And so if any of this rings true, go see someone rather than trusting some dude on the internet to try and solve or cure your problems. This is your mental health we're talking about, and that's not my job, really. I'm talking about this because this is an art-centered channel, and as artists and as freelancers or whatever you want to call yourself, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to put yourself into this. And so this is more of a warning video for you as much as it is for me, and it's part of the reason that it's been put off for so long. So what is burnout? How do you get it? Expectation misalignment is the first thing on this list. I wrote down some notes from a few different sources. I believe this bit is from Dr. Sarah Cotton, who is a work-life specialist psychologist. Would be a decent kind of person to look into if you're looking for a psychologist yourself. Not necessarily her, but just someone who specializes in work-life balance. So expectation misalignment. Basically, like, if you do this thing, it'll make you rich and famous and you won't have to work ever again. Yay! And it didn't work. And it didn't work out for some reason. And you were expecting it to work out, and now you're disappointed. And on top of it being disappointed, you've put all this work into it, and so now you just feel like crap because of it. That happens with freelancers all the time. You're like, okay, well, this studio show that I'm doing, this will be the one, and I guess I should say, like, if you're a student, if you're a single parent, if you're a parent, or you have parents that are elderly and you're taking care of them, whatever, still applies. You could still get burnout. But again, we're talking about artists here. Unsustainable workload. This one happens quite a lot as artists because we're freelancers, because we are our own bosses. We can basically work infinite hours. There's no one to tell me, like there is at my day job, hey, you're working too much. Your payroll, we don't have enough hours for you to be working this much, so we need you to go home like 2 hours early today, okay? Because you worked through your lunch the other day, so on and so forth. There's no one to tell you to do that when you're your own boss, and I think a lot of people who are freelancers come from a work site or you had at least one normal job prior to doing this, and so you're used to that. You're used to the idea that you could just keep working. Like, why not? No one tells you no. These next two aren't very valid for freelance, but if they are, you're doing something wrong. Mindless work. If you find your work mindless, do something interesting. Enjoy your work. Enjoy your time doing art. Passive aggressive workplace. I guess if you have a really bad commission, this could happen. Poor work-life culture. Here's one that really applies. Again, unsustainable workload is made even worse when you're just like, I can't go to the party. I can't go out tonight. I can't go and go watch this movie with you. I can't go on a date tonight. I have to work. And that's always your answer. Not just every now and then, but like literally always. That's a poor work-life balance. Like, you need to be able to walk away from your work. And you should be able to. And on top of all this, on top of all of these things, the feeling that you can't change this, that this is just how it is. You gotta. Whether or not that's true or not is an entirely separate thing, but definitely in your head you feel like it is. This generation is being labeled Generation Burnout, the millennials, just because there's, we have to work more for less money, and we have the whole gig economy thing is flourishing now. Driving for Uber, working on YouTube, all of those kind of things. You don't have a boss. You can make your own way. You can be your own boss. That's what they always say, right? And then you actually do it, and then you have to work like ridiculous hours. Yeah, that's not good. And so it's a problem that millennials are facing more and more. And this next upcoming generation, I would imagine, is going to as well, to some extent. So just, if you are of that other generation, just be aware that these are things that could happen to you very easily, because that's the way the world is currently structured. As it stands, this whole feeling of all of those conditions, those work conditions, lead you to feel kind of stressed out. It's a stress feel, more so than like a depression or anxiety feel. Though all of them are kind of like on the borderline with each other, which again, I'm not a psychologist, so if any of this sounds like you, doesn't really matter if it's burnout or not. You feel like crap, so go talk to someone. You feel pessimistic about everything and how it's going, like, oh, I did this thing and it didn't work out, and now, I worked all those hours and now I just feel like crap for it. You feel drained, you're tired all the time, you're frustrated, you feel no motivation, you feel like you've hit a wall. There's just a general numbness feeling to everything that you're doing, and there's just that high workload. Freelancers were always connected. There's nothing to stop you from getting an email at 1 a.m. from a client who's just like, hey, I love the work you did for us. The logo, great stuff. Just got a couple changes. The shape needs to be changed. The color needs to be changed. And we're going to change up the text on it. And so aside from the shape, colors, contrast, general concept, and text on it, it's good. So just keep that stuff and change everything else. And there's that feeling of like, oh man, this is a very important client, so I have to. Or this is a client, so I have to. No, you don't. And there's going to have to be a separate episode on that in of itself, but just as an aside, no. You find yourself, you're always being busy because you're a freelancer. You have infinite time because you can make your own hours, so they're always. So how to prevent it? Recognizing the symptoms is a good start, because if you recognize the symptoms and how it happens, just don't do that. That's easier said than done. Having a hobby, I've found personally helpful, because inevitably the question becomes, Rev, have you experienced burnout? And then yeah, a little bit. And it doesn't mean that I hate anything I do. I think that's the other misconception when it comes to burnout, is that you hate your work. No, not at all. Like, you can enjoy what you do. Like, in the case of like a parent, like, it doesn't mean that you hate your kids now. It's just like the workload that you're putting on yourself is unreasonable, student, what have you. You can still enjoy what you do and burn out from it. I'm sure you could burn out from enjoyable, like, pleasure activities, like, I don't know, fishing. I don't know, whatever people do for hobbies. Having a hobby helps. All the normal things that you hear about whenever there's a mental health thing, like drink lots of water, get a good night's sleep, exercise. Valid, totally valid things you should do for yourself. Totally not things I do. I get good night's sleep and I drink a lot of water. Exercise, I don't remember the last time I went to the gym. Clear boundaries, you should set those up. When does your workday start? What time? 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 a.m.? When does it end? And when you are on your break, whenever that time is, that is your, like, free time, that needs to remain your free time. You can't be like pushing yourself to, you know, oh, well, yeah, I could just slip in one extra little thing. That's how it always gets me, is I have like carved out time for it, and then it slowly creeps into that free time. And then it's just like, while I'm doing a hobby or something, I'm like checking my phone to make sure that I do such and such. It's like, no, that's not good for you. And it says, stop looking at your phone 1 hour before bed. I listen to YouTube videos before I go to sleep, so that's not really going to work for me. I know a lot of people are like that, but they mean it in the context of like, if you're someone who can't not look at your emails when you look at your phone, and then that gives into stress. Speaking of, don't ignore the stress. Your body is pretty good at telling you to stop doing stupid crap, and you may not be good at listening to it. Listen to it, you know? It's one of the first things they teach you in psychology is that. And I wrote down this quote just because it's very true. Just because you can work doesn't mean you should. I have no idea who said that. I just wrote it down on my sticky notes, and I'm like, yep. So going into like, Rev, do you ever burnout thing? And I guess that's how I'm going to end this video is, yeah. It slowly works into my work schedule, that I try and push in too many directions too often. And I slowly start working like 80-hour work weeks. And it's just like, you know what? No, you know, I just want to work as much as I enjoy it. And that's about it. And so, and that's the crappy part, is that I still enjoy it, but it's just like, I don't know, the workload doesn't feel right, you know? So it just needs to be streamlined again. And then I need to get myself back down to like a 20 to 40 hour workload week rather than, you know, more. And it's very easy for that to happen, especially if you're doing the YouTube circuit. You hear about people much, much bigger than me. And I should point this out because I feel like that you're going to try and push yourself, especially if you're an overachiever. You're going to think, oh, well, you know, I could just do more. Why can't I do more? I could do more, you know? I'm not weak. I could do more. Yep. That's not good for you. That you shouldn't be doing that. That's absolutely horrible for your mental health to be treating yourself like a machine like that. Their channel is much bigger than mine. Even my bigger channels, like the highlights channel, that you hear going, hey guys, I need to take a break from, you know, doing whatever because I'm experiencing burnout. The reason that they still experience it is because that it doesn't change. You don't walk away from this. Having 1 million subscribers is not going to make your life any easier. You're not going to have to work less at that point, you know? Like, because the reason you're working so much is partially because of the way you're treating yourself. You're in your own head telling yourself you need to work this many hours. You need to work this much. And that is not a... that's something at your core of your being that you need to change the way you're thinking about stuff. Otherwise, when you get to that milestone, the one that you think is going to change things, you're still going to be in this headspace, and that's not good for you. So go stop doing that. Restructure your life in such a way that you do have free time, and so that way you do get to have a break. And you'll be surprised how difficult that is at first, but how helpful it is when it works out. But yeah, sorry for the rambly video. Sorry it went on for as long as it did. I have been putting off this video for a while just because it does seem like such a monumental video to put out. And I definitely didn't cover everything. I've spoken about this vaguely, or at least in the context of like, you need to like, I don't know, what it means to be an artist and how to treat yourself before. And I'll link off to those videos at the end of this video, so you can go listen to those. Maybe just hearing it in a different way is what you need. But this video is running long, and I still need to thank my Patreon subscribers, patrons, that's the word. Starting with Wapfu, thank you so much. Thank you, Tilda, my beautiful almost wife. She's the reason that I don't go crazy. Thank you, Theodore Corbiere. Thank you, Spencer Kane. Thank you, Plex. I feel like people with shorter names I spend less time just because it takes less time to say them. Thank you, Flinixia Theoran. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Maliciousness. Thank you, Lost Nevada. Thank you, James at Games. Thank you, Gaizuzan. Thank you, Ethan Frack. Thank you, Duxu. Thank you, Bubba Fair. Thank you, Andy. And thank you, Amber. You guys are awesome. And I really, really appreciate how far this channel has come this year. I think this might be the last video of the year. Yeah, this is the last video of the year on this channel. The milestone that I set for myself, and this is another issue with the whole Burnout thing. The milestone I set for myself on this channel was 400 subs. A thing that I can't directly change, and something that happens one way or another. It probably should have been have this many videos a month or something like that. One of my other ones was paint on canvas at least once a week, which is a much better goal, and I would recommend having those kind of goals rather than goal-based, but I feel like that's another video in of itself. But anyway, this channel is much more than 400 subs now, and it's much more than I expected it to be in the end. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting me, and I will see you guys next year, I guess, if this is the only channel you sub to. I'll see you then. Bye.